here tonight. Before we call this to order, I just wanted to, because we've got a lot of folks and I want to make sure we can get as many people into the allotted time here as we do. Thank you all for being here. We have a register ahead kind of process to make sure that everybody gets a chance. And I just want to make sure that we've got the correct folks here. Samia Mohammed, there you are. Richard DeGrood, there's Richard. Jeffrey Smid.
She's checking to see if
Jeffrey?
finding it.
Still trying to find it? Okay. And Jody Tasto and Robert Norman. Okay. So what we'll do, everybody is going to get 5 minutes and we're going to have to cut you off at 5 minutes. Not because I'm being a jerk, just because we've got to get everybody in and I want to make sure everybody has the exact same amount of time. You'll have time to present. Don't be surprised if maybe the council asks some questions, maybe ask, says, excuse me, and ask you a specific question about what the point that you're making. And what I'll have you do, if you could, if you just, as you come up, the microphones are kind of, they're not as, they don't pick up as well as they could. So you got to get nice and close to the microphones to be heard, especially on the recording. And then when you finish, you can take the little clipboard here and kind of scoot off to the side and sign in and just make sure we have everybody, if that's okay. Everybody cool with all that? All right. Priyanka, are we ready? We are ready. With that, I will call our City Council listening session to order. Tonight is Monday, September 15th. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will get started with, yeah, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Samia Mahmoud, and I am a 12th grader at Kennedy High School. As our city council, you were elected to serve nearly the 90,000 people inside of our city. That includes more than 10,700 students in your school systems. Learning this 10,700 plus students in your city. The fact of the matter is, we as the students no longer have a reason to feel safe in schools. These kids have no reason not to fear that an act of violence will follow them into the classroom. 2 Fridays ago, Kennedy and Jefferson High School students marched to the City Hall where we were demanding change, demanding that it starts in our city. I'm speaking for many when I say we do not feel safe in our classrooms. With no protected entrance, no push for new legislation or policies that would protect us, no hope in our city, just fear. All council members here today hold power. Power over the students, power over the people, and most importantly, the power to create change in our city. I stand before you to ask for you to do something on behalf of our city's youth because you have the power to create change. The ball is in your court, but don't take too long because if you choose to wait, you choose to neglect and endanger us, and you'll be complicit because of your silence. Thank you.
Thank you. And first, Samia, yes. I apologize for mispronouncing your name when you started. I apologize for that. And I did want to say also, that yes, I mean, I participated in a press event with other mayors basically saying that if the state or the federal government wasn't going to move on this, that we were asking that the cities be allowed to take control of this issue in some way, shape, or form. And so, yes, I'm right there with you. If we can't come to consensus, if our state, our federal leaders won't listen to this enormous outpouring that we've heard from our residents in the state of Minnesota, if they're not able to act, give cities the opportunity to act and see what we can do for it. So appreciate you stepping up, appreciate you speaking this evening. Council, any questions or anything else? Councilmember Mua?
This isn't going to work. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Samia, for being here. I was there 2 weeks ago when you and the other organizers brought students from Jefferson and Kennedy and our middle schoolers over to Civic Plaza. And so I know our city staff is working very hard and will continue to do so. And I invite you to continue to work with us as students in the school We value how you feel as residents in Bloomington. And so thank you for being a voice for those who might not be brave enough to be here tonight, but also sharing your concerns with us. And we take that very seriously here at the city. So we'll continue to do everything we can to make sure that our residents, our students, our future residents can continue to be here in Bloomington. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I wanted to make sure that you knew that right over your left shoulder is your state representative. And there he is. And I know he agrees with what you just said as well. So very good. Anything else, Council? If not, thanks for being here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, this is typically where I caution people, we've got to be careful about applauding, because if I allow applause, then I've got to allow boos, and I'm not going to do that. When I say boos, you know what I mean when I say that. It's so we've just got to be careful. So please. Next up is Richard DeGrood. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for having us have an opportunity to express some of our questions. I'm one of the homeowners of probably 7 different other new homes that were built on Washburn Circle a number of years ago. There was one older home that was tore down about a year ago, and it sat for quite a while. And we were excited that finally something was going to take the place of this home. The question that, and we were kind of left in the dark as far as what was going to happen. We assumed it'd be a single family home, but it obviously the desire of the developers is intending to do rental affordable housing in that space. One of the questions are the group that I'm kind of speaking for that are here. We had several different concerns about the setback. The setback, from what I can understand, is only about 38 feet from 90th Street. When we developed, or when we were developing that area, a builder by the name of Marlon Grant built a house on the corner just opposite of this. They had a requirement of a 75-foot setback from 90th Street. And we were under the impression that this Mark and Joanne Williamson, who live in that house and built the house, are still there today. We were under the impression, because of the accessibility onto 90th and the visibility, that is no longer being complied with what this new home is looking to. So they're looking to be 38 feet from that. I actually went over to Mark and Joanne's home, and they weren't home, but they've got 83 feet from their house to the curb cut. So I don't know where that 75 feet comes in, but somewhere in there. So that's one of our biggest concerns, because it pushes everything so close to the road for visibility, for traffic, for moving in and out of that area. It's really getting close. And it doesn't conform to the other homes in the area. I went and looked at the other homes that are down 90th, and they're all set back much further than the 40 feet or 38 feet that this particular builder is looking to do. So that's a concern of ours, that this is sitting way out front. We think it poses a danger in accessibility and looking. 90th Street's changed a lot over the years, because it used to be 2 lanes each way. Now it's only 1 lane each way. And it's a real bear sometimes to even get onto that road or even get off the road. That was one of our concerns. The other concern is that was a very heavily wooded lot. And some of the trees have already been cut down, and the home has been taken off. There's a big barrier of trees that are on the 90th Street that really acts as a noise barrier for us. And there's a lot of other big mature trees, and the city's real protective of their trees, which we appreciate. We've lost a lot of ash trees, so we should be protective. So we're concerned about what are the trees that are going to get taken down. And that noise barrier, some of the people are impacted pretty sizably because of the noise that comes off at 90th. It's gotten to be pretty noisy and busy. Another thing that we have questions on is the stormwater. His proposal is for a twin home, and then it's dividing another lot off for a single family. So what is that going to do with impervious surfaces and draining all that water? And it's an elevated lot into the street. Is there provisions for that? I don't know whether that's even been talked about. So none of us really know what's really going on. We did meet with our council member for our district, Lana. She was very, very cooperative and forthright in trying to give us information on what she could. And so we're requesting to hold the consent agenda, our request for him subdividing this lot until we get more information.
I appreciate that. And yes, Council, you're aware, and I want to make sure everybody's aware, this is an item on our consent agenda tonight as well. To answer at least a couple of your questions, and I'm not sure on the stormwater, we do have stormwater considerations also. The trees, the understanding that the answer that we got from the developers was the applicant is not proposing to remove any of the trees along 90th Street. They agree that yes, it's a good noise barrier and a sound barrier as well. So wouldn't be removing trees along 90th. And in terms of the setback, and this is a bit more detailed even than I realized it was, there was previously a standard in the R1 zoning district called prevailing setback, in which houses had to meet the average of the two adjoining properties if they were constructed, but that was prior to 1975. The standard was intended to maintain continuity of neighborhood character. Prevailing setback was removed from the R1 zoning district as part of the reforms that were approved in May of 2023. So the front setback requirement in the R1 district is now uniformly 30 feet. Discrepancy in outcomes, in addition to reducing impervious surface due to longer than necessary driveways, was made one of the main reasons it was supported the removal of the prevailing setback. So
the question though, this isn't the front elevation setback. This is a side on 90th Street. He's pushed it so far forward to 90th Street that when you come on Washburn Circle, that house is way in front of any other house that's on 90th.
understood. So Richard, we're out of time right now. I know we've got another speaker and we'll probably have this discussion, I'm sure, when we get to the consent agenda tonight as well.
Okay.
So, okay.
Great. I appreciate you
All right.
listening.
Yep. Thank you. Did Jeffrey make it?
He is not available, so if Dick has more to say, we cede the time to him.
Unfortunately, we don't do it like that. We it's just one bite of an apple for everybody. So it's yeah.
Glorious.
Yep. I mean, if there's somebody else in the group who would like to just speak, we could make that work. You're going to step up for the group?
The whole neighborhood's here.
The whole neighborhood is here. Very good.
I'll step up. Sure, I'll step up.
Thank you.
I'm glorious, right?
Good evening and welcome.
Priyanka, you responded. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to continue to talk about the setbacks. I understand they sent us a lot of, Lona was extremely helpful and she came over and she sent us all the information about the change, the zoning change that was made in 23 that none of us on this group, how did we miss that? However, in that, just in the time we had to go over it, it looked like the zoning change was just to change the size from the current size to half the size for a lot, or a single family lot. So we did not have enough time to go into detail into that document, but I would like to request that the team table the consent item to give us a little bit more time to look at that, because I'm very concerned that there was a person that died on 98th or 90th in France. We all remember that and how dangerous these corners can get. And that corner has a traffic light. We would like more time to look at this, because not only it takes us 5 to 10 minutes to get out of that circle with how busy it is now because of the extra space, the divider that was put in. And now that they're trying to limit the visibility on that corner even more, we even have more concerns about the safety of that corner. And we would like a chance to look at it and get a chance to see if there's anything we can do to push it back for specific areas, because we're not talking about a normal setback in a street of houses. we're talking about a setback in a already very busy, somewhat dangerous corner. And we have the bus stops there for both the children and the city buses. And I've already seen where I stop and kids trying to scurry across, and sometimes people darting around. We have an opportunity to prevent something dangerous. And all we're asking for is a chance to take a pause so we could see if there's anything we could do to keep our community safe. That's the major concerns. There are other concerns, but that corner is already difficult. If you ever go over there, there's no stoplights. I posted on the Bloomington, Minnesota Community for All group, and the number of responses I got about this, the danger of that corner was amazing already, without us even talking about developing it and putting houses even closer on 90. So I respectfully plead and request that we take a pause so we could try to continue to make our neighborhoods safe. And also just to consider that a person already died on 90th in France, a similar corner that has a stop sign. We don't have that, and we're about to make it more dangerous. So that's my request.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I have more neighbors here if you'd like to hear from them.
Now I think we're going to run into we get back to our speakers here. Jody?
Oh, I have to sign in?
Yeah.
Yep, if you could please sign in if you haven't signed in yet, if you could. Jody, if you could step on up, please.
Steve has been working with me on this. Does one thing he sit with me or just one?
No, no. Of course he can. Of course he can.
Come on up. He's very familiar with this topic. So thank you for hearing me. My name is Jody Tasto, T-A-S-T-O. I live in District 3. I'm on Sandro Road, and we're here today to talk about quiet zones, or the request to move forward with quiet zones. I have a handout, Sean, if I can. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. So I know this is a topic that some of you may have heard of already, and just, it's a very important topic for our neighborhood. I wish I had more time, but we do have a lot of neighbors here to representing, showing the importance of what we're requesting. And I do know as well that Steve, I believe, has forwarded you some information. So you have pictures of the intersections we're talking about, as well as a similar report that was done through Eden Prairie City. So very high level, what we're here tonight to ask for is that we can move forward, or that the city agrees to move forward, establishing quiet zones in two, I'll say intersections or areas of crossings for trains. You'll see that on your maps, which I handed out. These are, and it's in the picture that Steve also sent. So one is the intersection that I call 84th Street and Bush Lake Road. And the other you might be familiar with, it's right in front of Highland Ski Hill. And the photo that Steve sent, actually you can see, excuse me, the proximity of a house right next to or right in front of that. A quiet zone, very high level. Again, you probably already know this. A quiet zone is a designated section of railroad where trains do not sound their horns at night. Now, the reason this is important for us, about a year and a half ago, the railroad made a change and started sending trains through at night. I think the neighborhood is pretty flexible with like the horns that come across at 10 o'clock at night, but we see weekly throughout the week horns that are blaring between 1 and 3 a.m. This is newer for us and it's extremely disruptive. So much so, like when I started the process of trying to find out where to start to request this from the city, I spoke to people in St. Louis Park and Edina, who on the same line, the cities have started the same discussion. So this is considered the dam patch line. It runs north to south, going up to Edina and then St. Louis Park. So in my search, I also was able to get a hold of the city engineer in Eden Prairie, and they were extremely helpful because they just finished a project of establishing quiet zones throughout their whole city. And the good news, I was happy to find out, is they established funding from the state. So the project was paid for by bonding, which led me to our state representative, Steve Elkins, who is here. And probably has more information as well that he could share on this because it has come up in the past. So I was happy when talking to the other cities that when they actually dug in, the amount of money needed for the projects was much lower than originally thought. And since we have Eden Prairie, who, when I spoke to them, I have it in your notes here, they use a consultant from the SRF group, which my understanding is Bloomington is familiar with that group. They have a very detailed report, which I think we could benchmark and reuse, hopefully, some of that knowledge. But the first step in this very big process is trying to get an assessment done. And so that's why I have that listed out here is what our request is tonight is to move forward with that and hopefully get a yes from our city to move forward. And we know that the process from start to finish can be quite long, but we're hopeful that we can move forward. And I do have residents here who have been long-term residents of Bloomington and in this District 3 and could speak to this as well, but the best way I can explain it, it's so hard to explain to you the impact it has, but it's really, I would say vicious. It's like you are in your home and everything is quiet. And the next thing you know, like this alarm goes off. It just happened to me on Sunday morning and I thought it was the tornado sirens. I really did. And I jumped out of bed. I was going to wake up my children because it was so loud and I thought it was an emergency. So we have people on our blog who will tell you that they are like awoken, like scared, you know, like in shock by the noise. You have children. I mean, it goes all the way up, all age groups. We even have grandparents who have told me that they wake up, they have to go to the bathroom, can't go back to sleep. And they're altering their life to try to go to bed like at dinner time to accommodate for these trains, which are very, very loud. So I know there's many more stories and I know because of time, we don't have time for that, but our hope today is that you'll agree to move forward with the assessment. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. The way it works, we don't make any decisions here in the listening session. We won't do that here. That would come at the end of our regular council meeting where we get to council issues and updates where we could direct staff to maybe take this on or look at this. So, but we've got the information. Appreciate your coming forward with this and appreciate you bringing the detailed information that you do have, and we will take it from there.
Okay. And is there anything else that we need to submit, like statements or anything?
No, I don't think so.
And who would I hear back from? Is it from Lona, our council member, or?
Something tells me you would hear back from Lona, probably. Yes,
Okay.
you would. Yes.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. And if we can get you to sign in as you're wrapping up.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, Mr. Norman, please.
Yeah. Everything's got wheels. Thanks.
Of course.
I'll just pick it up.
However you're most comfortable. Good evening. Welcome.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor and council members. The reason I'm here today is a year ago, we had fiber optic put through our neighborhood and they came through with the boring machines and dug holes and so on. And I understand the company that started the project did something wrong and they didn't finish. And so all the grass that was disrupted is still in a state of disrepair. And I've been working with a couple of guys that are up at Public Works. They seem to have their hands tied. I don't know if there's any progress on this.
First of all, you're not alone. We've heard this from a number of different folks, and including, I think, people around this table who have had their yards or backyards messed up in a variety of different ways. What our first course of action is to try and make sure that the company that did this comes back and fixes it for you. And it's kind of hit and miss sometimes if they some are no longer in business, some have moved on, but that is the first order of business. And the first thing that the city tries to do is hold accountable the folks who were doing the work in the area, that they come back and repair it appropriately. Now, you said you've been working with folks in Public Works. I don't think, I might need some help here in terms of at what point do we actually go in and do the repairs and then charge it back to the company? Do we do that? How does that work? I'm looking at our engineer now too. Come on up here, Julie, please. This is Julie Long. She's the city engineer.
Mr. Mayor, we have not done it to a level with any of the fiber optic companies where we do the restoration and charge them back. We have done it with CenterPoint Energy. They have asked us to do that on occasion. We have escalated this gentleman's problem. It had been at a certain level, and based on his attendance tonight, others found out about it at the city. So we have escalated it up higher to a different level at Lumen. So we're expecting some action. What the issue is Creek was hired by Lumen, who then hired a subcontractor, and now there's been a lot of finger pointing and not a whole lot of action, which is very frustrating, and I apologize for that. But it is still Lumen's responsibility. We still have their permit, and it is theirs to figure out.
Very good. I appreciate the update and the clarification on that. I knew we had done restoration in the past, didn't realize it was for CenterPoint, not for our tech companies. Councilmember Nelson, question?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'm just wondering if Lumen has other permits, because we passed a ordinance that if they were not keeping up with their restoration, they would not be able to get additional permits or continue with those other permits. And is that something we're taking a look at as obviously a carrot, an incentive for them to fix this?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Nelson, that is a great carrot. The only problem is Lumen has completed their work within Bloomington, so that carrot is just sitting there dead on the table.
So I think here, Robert, I think what the bottom line is we've escalated it, and we'll keep pushing our friends at Lumen to make this right, because as I said, you're not the only one in the city. And I'm not saying just Lumen, there are other companies as well that we had to push along and to really encourage to finish the work that they have started. And we're going to continue to do that in this case with the work that Lumen has done in your neighborhood and across the city as well. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping in, Julie. Greatly appreciated. That is it for the folks who are on our list for our listening session. We have just a couple minutes left. I'd invite people forward, but if we've already heard the arguments, for example, the Washburn Circle issues, perhaps if there's other folks who had different issues beyond the two that we've heard. All right. All right. Council, we are at the end of our list. And I think we've completed our business here. Look for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So
Motion by Councilmember Mua, second by Councilmember Rivas to adjourn tonight's listening session. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. Thank you for your input. We greatly appreciate it. And for the issues that we did talk about, as I said, at the end of the council meeting, so you might have to stay up a little bit later by the time we get around to them. But we do talk about them at the end of the meeting as part of our council policy and issue update. And it's at that point that it's possible that we would direct staff to move forward, for example, on the study, or even within the consent agenda, which is fairly early in the agenda, where we would talk about the possibility of pulling out the Washburn Avenue. All right, great. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.